Ramuji, how did our Hindu religion start? When was it founded? And by whom?
How did the Hindu religion start? You see, how can we answer that? For us, this Hindu religion is based on the intelligence of the Supreme Being himself. These rishis, they are called seers. They managed to tune themselves to the intelligence of divinity, and they got all this intelligence in form of Vedas. So when I say it is the intelligence of God which is the source of the religion, how can you give it a time? So if you ask how did the Hindu religion start? Anadi. It was founded by God. You go to any philosophical traditional branch, they will trace the root right to divinity. And that is the beauty of a religion. To this day, the same intelligence, in the same language of that intelligence is available. So, what is the origin of a religion? Sanatanam. When it existed, there was no other religion, because all the other religions typically have a starting time and a founder. For us, Bhagavan. So, you can't put a date. And people try to date Vedas. About 200 years back, people thought the age of the earth was only 5,000 years. So they had to fit all the timelines within that 5,000 years. Why? Because that's what they thought. And now we all know they are mistaken. 5,000 years is what they thought the earth existed. But 5,000 years back, our Rishi said earth existed 13.8 billion years ago. They gave a big calculation saying, this cycle is millions of billions of years old. The sun's age. Billions. That's our culture. That's our tradition. That's our intelligence. Why? Because it is Bhagavan's intelligence. And the intelligence of God is called Vedas. And so since Vedas are the bedrock for our Sanatana Dharma, how can we ever say, when did it start? It was always there. But they are dating in your books, I'm sure, especially since you are studying outside India. They were given Rig Veda period, 3,000 years, 4,000 years. All that is only assumption. And they made some very fallacied assumption for tracing the age is what I have heard. First of all, the age estimation they did was only the lower limit. They said certainly Vedas are older than 5,000 years. That's all they said. But you can't say 5 and 5,000 as a timeline, because we have to look at our tradition also, which has been guarded, you see. And now you all know, news can be twisted any way you want. Now you are tasting right now, you can put anything you want. And if there is nobody who is truly conscientious to curate the news, anything goes as news, right? Likewise, our news or our traditional records were curated by Mahatmas without a break. So right now, we have that same form. In fact, many of the people were astounded when somebody from Tirunelveli, which is the southernmost tip of India, and somebody from Kashi, somebody from Gujarat, somebody from Assam, somebody from, say, Kashmir, when they all come together and chant Vedas without even a single mistake, without even a single dissonance, they were able to chant in the same swara, the same tune, the same words, without any change at all. And he said, how can somebody protect it other than beauty? Because they protected Vedas by only sound was protected. They didn't write it down. If you write it down, there is a problem. A small spelling mistake, gone, right? A small punctuation, whole meaning changes. It was handed over with swara so that the meaning doesn't change. That's why it was so carefully protected. The rishis did not write anything down. It was all you memorize, you give it, so that the sound does not get changed. So oral, 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 oral. When you want to protect as authority in form of sound, the best way to protect it is as sound, not as some translated or transliterated, etc. That is the reason why they didn't write it down. Now people are asking if they could have at least written on copper plates, etc. They wrote other things in copper plate. They didn't write all these things. Vedas were not written. So obviously Vedas must have come late. No. They didn't want to. These are geniuses. You see, these are Mahatmas. They understand long-term implication of the smallest thing. They know. So how did the Hindu religion start? It always existed. It is as ancient as earth itself. And so the question, when did Hindu religion start? There is nobody called one who started. Even before somebody was, religion was. And if we want to know who codified it in the recent past, then we have one person. If at all we have to all worship together, that great Mahatma is called Veda Vyasa Bhagavan. And he is the one 5,200 years or so back. He codified, he separated Vedas into 4. He gave Mahabharata, he talked about Dharma, and you all know he was a contemporary of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. In the recent past, he was the one who sort of codified Sanatana. But he is not the founder. Obviously, Vedas existed even before Veda Vyasa was, because Vedas are eternal. Just like how, when you say gravity, the actual principle of gravity is eternal. Like when you drop an apple, it always falls down. Even before Sir Isaac Newton allegedly saw an apple fall and then found out gravity, gravity always existed. He merely gave it a name. He merely gave it a proper equation and said how it works. But gravity existed before Newton. Likewise, all these rishis, in a way, in their small way, they sort of tapped into the universal intelligence by a state called Samadhi. And then they found out the intelligence of Bhagavan and gave it in form of Vedas. So Vedas always exist because Bhagavan always exists. And that is the reason why our Swamiji, in one of these books, when he was asked, who is the one who founded Hinduism? He wrote, Hinduism was founded by God.
I feel really proud that our religion came from God Himself, and that to this day we have the Vedas, the intelligence of God available to us. What truly amazes me is that the Vedas were deliberately never written down, but have been carefully preserved by our seers for millennia and passed down to us just as sound. Even today, it is chanted in the exact same way everywhere.